Access to food is key to ensuring human dignity, and today's World Science Forum's focus for today is that science for human dignity. Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa has appealed to scientists and policymakers at this gathering to work towards the protection of the most vulnerable in society. Our reporter, Natalie Malgas, is in Cape Town and at the symposium of where this particular forum is taking place. Natalie, good morning to you. What else can be expected from this forum? We saw the president addressing its start yesterday afternoon.
In fact, for most of today, we'll be talking about how science relates to the very real challenges that everyday South Africans and Africans experience. And one of those big topics is around food insecurity. In fact, in a few short moments, I'll be joined by Professor Julian May of the Center for Excellence in Food Security at UWC. Prof, what is the biggest threat to food security in South Africa and on the continent?
Well, there's many vulnerabilities that we are concerned about, but right now my vote would be for climate change. We're experiencing events that we thought would only take place in 10 years' time are starting to happen now. So more hot days, rainfalls that are unpredictable, season shifts, so we're starting to see rain in our dry areas when we would normally be harvesting the fruit, and we're starting to see drought in areas which would have summer rain, and they are our breadbasket. So that's where my vote would be, is climate change.
How do we undo all of the bad things that we see playing out to secure our food supply systems?
Well, it would be nice to be able to say we can undo. It's probably too late. We're going to have to learn how to adapt. And that really is where science can play a very big role. And an example is something called agroecology. Now, that is not the same as organic production. Agroecology is a very sophisticated way of working with nature and understanding how nature adapts and how plants themselves, our animals themselves, adapt to particular conditions. So one of the things we're trying to do is to understand how particular plants, particularly indigenous plants, adapt to heat, to drought, and to salinity. And one of the problems that accompanies climate change is that we are forced to irrigate more often, and that means that deteriorates the health of our soil. So again, agroecological approaches help us understand how to ensure that our soil is healthy. It's manageable. We're seeing farmers already doing this, being able to protect their harvests, using far less chemicals, much less reliance upon industrial techniques of agriculture, and thus better able to manage the impact of climate change.
Prof, just lastly, how much of that is work done in labs, or is there a collaboration between what farmers and crafters are already doing in the fields and the work being done in the labs?
Well, I think that's another important change as we start to move outside of our laboratories and base our research in communities. And again, things like that are starting to happen. And our research team, one of our colleagues, has now moved his lab into the Matatiele district of the Eastern Cape and is working with local communities to be able to produce more food, to be able to generate livelihoods, but critically for people also to learn about what is healthy food and to make better choices. So those are the kinds of things that we can do with our research teams.
Thank you very much, Professor Julian May. In fact, I'm going to take you over to the tea crafters of Limpopo at the moment. In fact, you can see them already pouring some of the teas that they've created from indigenous materials from Limpopo. Ma'am, I'm going to shoot over this side. Miss Nondamiso Patla, ma'am, explain to us what are these products and how did you first come up with it? I understand you were a nurse initially and you ditched all of that for the more organic route. What's going on here?
Actually, what is happening here is an enterprise that is formed by women. It's a rural enterprise development. So as a nurse, I saw an opportunity of finding solutions in rural communities because I always have noticed that rural women have been looking after themselves. They're living long. They walk on the street until they are 80 or 90 and they are carrying babies and doing a lot of house chores independently in the rural areas. So there is longevity in these rural communities. So my journey started when I went back to my rural communities, my in-laws communities, and mobilized women because they were drinking these things alone, to say, let's share it with the whole world. Let's heal the whole world with the knowledge that you have. So this indigenous knowledge has been fantastic because we then took it to science, to the Department of Science and Innovation with its consortium to do the product development, to analyze and benchmark these products. And we are so excited today that this is a real breakthrough because it covers the holistic wellness of many people. Now we are serving the world. We are serving young people, from young people to older generations. And men are excited about these teas because they are also balancing hormones. So there is a lot of pleasure. The taste is good, and at the same time it's health boosting, and it's organic, and it's very safe to drink, and it's also very easy to make. You know, you simply just put 1 spoon in a liter of boiling water. It's highly soluble in water.
Ms. Patla, tell us how your teas were received here at the Science Symposium. It kind of feels like the merging of Western thought and innovation and indigenous knowledge.
Yes, there's a big excitement, especially with the theme that we are here about, restoring rural communities and making them part of the global knowledge. But it is much more exciting to see rural women offering to the whole society. So to have 118 countries around us is a big breakthrough for us. We feel we're going to spread through this product to the whole world. But everybody is stopping at our station. Everybody wants to know what's happening because we're dressed like our teas. And the very same dresses are coming from the rural areas. These dresses that we're wearing, we're matching with the teas. It's all the handcraft of the women. So I'm saying today in this science forum, let's stand up and go back to rural areas and tap on the knowledge of indigenous women.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Patla. Xoli, as you heard, much of the conversations today are about the collaboration of Western methods and indigenous knowledge, the original ways for many here in South Africa of doing things. Here in Cape Town, the Cederberg region is known for its teas, and here we're seeing exhibitors all the way from Limpopo with something similar. Behind me you can see some of the exhibitions on display here. There are at least 118 different nation states, policymakers, scientists and exhibitors all showing off the latest in scientific innovation. The idea to the symposium is more than just a talk shop, as we heard the President mention in his opening address yesterday. Let's not just have chats about what needs to happen, but let's actually invoke real change and show all of that happening.
Beautiful conversations coming out of the World Science Forum. Natalie Malgas there, our colleague, giving us the walkabout and talking to some of the people that are offering the different products that could be good for our health. You've heard the lady saying that that tea that she sells there has good health properties. I'd wish to sample that if I was there.